Wow, listen to that sound. Oh, I've got a squirrel above me. Must be out and about just now. So, we're on the topic of ways to prevent burnout before it happens. And the Forbes Coach Council came up with, when you work long hours and hard hours without taking time to recharge, you'll inevitably stop being effective at what you do. This burnout can leave you feeling tired and resentful. That's why it's important to recognise the early signs so you can pace yourself and continue to be effective at your job. So they asked 13 of their members for the best advice on avoiding burnout at work. So I think they're quite really good tips. We'll just recap on the ones we spoke about yesterday. Watching for the warning signs, making sure that everything's okay and watching for these wee trigger points. Morning Karen, morning Louise, morning Andrea. Prioritising your time on the things that are more important. Using your vacation or your holidays to take a break. Morning Anne-Marie. Work in alignment with your values. That's quite an important one, actually aligning with what you actually think of yourself. I think that's the most important one, and we'll talk about that right now. So, Stella Grintz from WOPA says, work in alignment with your values. When you're not in alignment with your values, you're in conflict, and that's exhausting. Your values are the guideposts for your actions, directing your decisions towards the visions that brings you alive, brings you to life basically. To prevent burnout, be vigilant and stay true to you. I think that's the most important thing as well. It's about aligning yourself. If you go in constant conflict with how you think and you try to do something completely different, you have an argument up here with your mind and your body and your alignment, and that causes frustration and stress and anger within you, and that puts you out of centre, if that makes sense. So you need to align with your core values and what you really believe in. Often, an example of this is I'll walk into somebody's house and I'll give them a valuation of their house, but the most important thing I want to know is, why on earth are you selling? Why would you want to sell? Why would you want to move? And I'll be honest, if I find out that it's not for a valid reason, I'll tell them. I'll basically say that, I don't think you should be moving. I don't think it's worth it, and these are the reasons why. I'll leave them with the facts, and I'll let them understand why I think that, and I'll let them decide if they want to sell or not. But for me personally, there's no way I could walk into somebody's house and actually say to them, yeah, get your house in the market, knowing full well that I don't think they've got a compelling reason to move. And there's maybe something else behind that that actually is driving them to do that, but that's not the real reason, if that makes sense. This is all about alignment and looking behind what's actually causing the issue. It's making you do what you do. Whole psychology thing. Morning, Alana. So Anna Farrell of Quantum Endeavours. Make great self-care a conscious priority. We often recognise the importance of self-care only after we feel overwhelmed and overworked. The key to prevent burnout is to consistently prioritise the care we need in body, mind, heart and spirit. So we may ensure that we have the capacity to approach our work from the best of us rather than what's left of us. Stress is not created by the size of the load, but rather our capacity to carry it. That's quite a good one, eh? Stress is not created by the size of the load we have, but the capacity that we've got to carry it. So Wendy Pitts of C2C Consulting says, seek joy. Burnout happens when we slowly but surely allow ourselves to get pulled more and more into activities that drain our energy rather than feed our soul. No one talks about having fun, yet having fun is what makes work worth doing. Pay attention to your inner response to the tasks you take on. Limit energy draining activities as much as you can. And if it doesn't light you up, just let it go. Don't do it. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Do what makes you burn. Do what makes you your passion and your burning desire to go forward, to move forward. There's no point in doing something you don't enjoy. But that's another story. So Erin Urban of UPP Solutions. Avoid overachievement. As a recovering perfectionist, they're not talking about me, but that could be me, I excel at setting high expectations for myself. If you're a chronic overachiever, you might be your own worst enemy. Take a step back and assess. Are you performing to expectations or overproducing? Have an open conversation with your boss who firmly understands priorities and expectations. While achievement is good, unnecessary stress is not. And that's can't see the forest for the trees, really, I think, to a degree. And that's the most important thing. Most of the time you get so locked up and doing everything perfect that you actually miss the point of actually doing it at all. And I'll call it the paralysis analysis. In other words, you analyse things far too much. You end up doing nothing because what happens here and what happens here and what happens if I do this and what happens if I do that, and you get locked up in that whole cycle. It's important to let it go and just get on with it. Like I say, we're doing these video vlogs. I keep telling some of the team that work with me, just point and click, just get on with it. And the key to remember in most things is not ready, aim, fire. It's ready, fire, aim. So just get ready, just get on with it, and then sort it out as you go. And I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30.